Hello and welcome to Paranormal Peeps with Don't Scare Claire. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's great to investigate with you at the Talbot. That
Yes,
was such an
yeah.
interesting night, and wow, what a fascinating place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a historic place as well. It was just
Yeah,
amazing.
well, because I went there and I was kind of looking around to see where else I could go, and you've got the castle which links in, Fotheringhay Castle, and also I'd done an investigation at Southwick Hall.
Oh
So,
yeah.
that had a link as well. So I actually went and checked those out, as well as, and yeah, it's good just to sort of see how the history tied in, and the locations and everything.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely brilliant. So hi, Roger. Hope you're well. Oh, thanks so much. Hey, Mr. DSC. Thanks everyone for joining us. Oh yeah, Paranormal Monkeys on as well. It always is this time of night. Oh, hello. You're on as well. Steve Welsh, welcome. Hello, everybody. Hi, Nigel. Right, okay. So we always start with, where did the sort of spooky thing start for you then?
Well, that's a big question. As pretty much as soon as I can remember, I've always kind of been a little bit weird like that. And so like I grew up watching like The Most Haunted and doing things like that. So I've always kind of been that way inclined, I guess. When it came to the YouTube channel itself, me and Mr. DSC, we used to watch Ghost Adventures quite a lot, and we used to like have a proper binge session where it'd just be one after the other
Wow.
episodes. And it got to the point where I was so interested in the first part of it, like the introduction, where it's like talking about the history and interviewing like the different witnesses and things like that. And then when they turned on the night vision cameras and started screaming in dark rooms, it's kind of like I'm not really interested in this
Yeah.
anymore. And I think it was like what they did a location that I was sort of familiar with. I'd sort of like learned a little bit about it before, just in general. And they got one of like the details a little bit wrong, and it just kind of like threw the whole thing off. It's like I could do this better than you. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's where it kind of started off from. And yeah, now we're here a year and a half later, I think. So yeah.
Incredible. It's got so many subscribers as well. Well
Yeah.
done on that. But you know, your content is good. You pick places which are sort of different as well, don't
Yeah.
you? Like, a lot of people go to the same old locations, but you sort of find a location. You know, what do you do? Do you find a location, then just go for the story behind it, or how's it work
Yeah,
for you?
pretty much. I have a big spreadsheet and I call it my holy grail spreadsheet. So like
Wow.
anytime that anyone gives me a request, I don't just read it and reply. Like I actually do put it on my spreadsheet. If I come across things that I just find interesting, because that's kind of like the whole thing for me is that I started doing this because I was interested in it and I wanted to learn for myself. And it's just me being productive. I have to like make something out of it. So like the YouTube channel kind of followed, but yeah, it kind of like I have this never ending list of places that I just want to investigate into the story and the history basically. So yeah, that's it.
That's fascinating. But how long does it take you on a story? It could take for ages, can't it?
Yeah,
Because you know, it's just not about the history. You know,
yeah.
you're getting information about the place, and oh, it's so interesting as well.
Yeah, oh absolutely. And I do find that like once I go down a rabbit hole, like that's it. I need to like go and like completely explore it. Yeah, it's another full-time job basically. It is a lot of time. So probably like start to finish with a video, it will be about a week's work. So
Wow. Yeah.
it's very intense, but I never want to feel like I've left something out or like never sort of like explored a different avenue of like looking at different things of like, well, how could this have sort of happened and things like that. Like I really do enjoy that sort of kind of skeptical aspect of it, sort of like really investigating like actual witness accounts and things like that. So yeah, I just tend to babble on a little bit.
No, but you don't. It's good, and you know, it's good viewing. It really is. But like, when you sort of get the witness accounts, do you have problems with like people speaking, or you know, are people willing to tell the story?
I think that sort of kind of ties into it a little bit, really, because it's sort of like, well, you get sort of like a witness account of someone that is on paper very trustworthy. So like the one that sort of springs to mind is when I was looking into the ghosts of Flight 401, and
Right, okay, yeah.
they were told, do not talk about this. Like you're risking your job by sticking your neck out on the line and telling what actually happened to you. So it kind of adds a little extra layer of credibility. Obviously, you're still going to have that grain of salt because they're anonymous accounts and they were in a book and it's like a second, third hand source. But it's still, yeah, you sort of like that's sort of what I'm talking about, like how you sort of interrogate it from all different sides, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So if anybody's got any questions for Claire, please sort of add them to the chat. But do you do you go away when you go on holiday? Do you sort of do you choose a location by the stories you want to get, or do you just go somewhere then see what's there?
Yeah, so Mr. DSC will know this because we're planning on going away in a couple of weeks. So in my office, I have a huge, great big, I think it's like A1 or A0, and it's a map of the UK, and it's got loads of like different haunted places. So as soon as we decide, oh, we're going away, I'm like, right, let me just get my map out, and I'm going to see like what's around in that area that we can go to, what sort of haunted castle or something. So yeah, that is always kind of a little bit of an element with me, hence tying into the whole always been a bit weird. But the one that really springs to mind was we went on a holiday to Edinburgh with my brother and his girlfriend. And it was pretty much ghost tours, haunted pubs, castles. Like that was literally all we did. And it was like one of the best holidays ever. So yeah, it was brilliant.
There's so much to see though, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I take it you went to the vaults and everywhere, obviously. Yeah, the graveyard.
Yeah, we did all of the ghost tours apart from the one that we should have done, which was the City of Dead tours, like where they actually let you into the Covenanters prison. But that's the only way that you can get in there. So next time we're going to go and do that tour.
I've not heard of that one, but yeah, I'd love to. I haven't even been to Edinburgh yet. I've got a dog, so I sort of stay on the outskirts. So much as I've been up that direction a few times and gone to the castles around there, I've not actually been in the centre, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And I think quite a lot of places there are dog friendly too, so you might be able to take them some places.
He doesn't really want that much, to be fair. It's not his sort of thing. When just felt when people pushed, yeah, that's cool, isn't it, Carl, that you've done your own. Recently attended a workshop by Kevka Paranormal. Yes, didn't you? It must have been amazing.
It was really good. Yeah, considering like I've not really done a huge amount of investigating before that, it was a really good sort of like foundation of sort of like what you should be looking out for and things like that, rather than just the experience you get of like watching YouTubers, not necessarily like actual investigators like Ouija Brothers and Ghost on Trent, but like the content creators. So it was really good to see from a point of view of like an actual, I say actual, but like Kev Kerr, basically, because he is a rock star at what he does. So yeah,
he is, but he's a total skeptic as well.
Yes.
So, and it's quite funny when we did go to Talbot, like all the skeptics were put together, and after the first vigil, Kev says, "Oh, we didn't get anything," and it was just so funny.
Yeah.
And it's, but you know, and that, but you know, like it's great when you do get a mix of people. You know, like I got called a believer, but I'm not. I am a skeptic. I call myself a skeptic, but I am aware of other things. You know, and it's just fascinating. So, have you so is investigating something you plan to pursue? Roger asks.
I'm not sure Mr. DSC will agree with you on being a great companion, but I think I'm definitely open to doing a lot more investigating. It's probably not something I'm ever gonna offer on the channel, or if it is, it will be like very rare, sort of members only, probably, because
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of work that goes into putting together an investigation for like to put it out on YouTube is just ridiculous, and I don't even have the hours in the day now, let alone adding in that sort of facet. But I definitely got value, and I have been getting value out of the investigations that I've done in terms of my own sort of like research and storytelling. So like if I come across a story of like an investigator and they've said this, and then I can sort of like review it from the point of view, well, I've done a couple of investigations now, like acting like I know it all, but I can sort of like see where they're coming from, or like where there's sort of holes in the story, I guess. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
that was a bit of a long-winded answer, Roger, but
Oh
yeah.
no, no, it's cool. It is hard though, just to like I try and get things, and trying to get the information, trying to get things you can validate. That is
Yeah,
so difficult.
definitely.
Oh, bless you. Awesome. Oh, well, there you go. Good reason to become a member of Don't Scare Claire, which is available on YouTube. But yeah, it. So have you ever been scared then? Have you ever experienced something paranormal? Well,
um
or unexplained, let's say.
Something unexplained. I would say the most compelling thing for me, I wouldn't necessarily say that it is paranormal, it definitely is to me unexplained, happened to me at the National Justice Museum. And I did talk about it in the video that I put out about it, because we had gone to like do the ghost tour that they do, like they do like a ghost tour by candlelight kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we were in the courtroom, which is said to be like one of the big sort of like hot spots. And we walked in, sat down on the bench, and I started getting a migraine, which that on its own is, it happens to me. I do get migraines.
Okay.
But it was getting worse and worse, and like coming on really badly. And I just looked up and I saw this like massive like bolt of lightning go across my vision, which
Wow.
that's never happened to me before or since. But again, it could just be migrainey things. But before we started the tour, they were talking about like, oh, if you ever feel like you're getting affected by anything, like just ground yourself and like relax and everything. So I was like, all right, I'm about to have the migraine of all migraines. Like, let's just try it, see what happens, because I'm here to do research. I need to be able to concentrate. So like, I just planted my feet and just said, this isn't happening. I'm not doing this. And it just went away. Like that was it. It was gone. Which, if you've ever had a migraine, that does not happen. And it's never happened to me again since. So again, could just be weird, could just be that I relaxed in a certain way and like it went away. But that has always stuck in my mind as like, that's a little bit odd, you know?
Yeah. That's it, because you know your bodies, and like I do tend to get a lot of pains. I do pick up on pains like investigation. And I know it's not me. And last time I was at Derby Jail, I was nearly on the floor crying.
Yeah.
It's like I was kicked in both ribs, right at the back, underneath my ribs. And like, oh, it just hurts like hell. And it's like, well, you're just sitting there, and all of a sudden it's like, ouch, where the hell's that come from? But that was a bit much. But it is amazing. Like the things you can get are just, hey, hiya. So I met Andy. I met him on Thursday. So Andy and Tracy, but hello. Oh, there you go. But I do love the National Justice Museum. It's a place which has been fascinating for me, and it's quite funny because it does have massive links with a past life. So that's just right on cue that Paul appears, isn't it? So yeah,
We've
in a
been
past
summoned.
life, I know exactly. Like in a past life, I actually worked for the judge at the galleries, and I do a lot of investigations. And even recently, I went to that weird shop. No links, well, I thought whatsoever, and my past life came through, which was like quite horrific, really. Yeah, I didn't know that you could. Well, no, I've been I've seen myself through. I've sat in the judge's chair in the National Justice Museum and been shown myself through his eyes, standing in the dock.
Wow.
And that was freaking. There's been worse than that. But yeah, you just get all these like strange things. Like, the more you go down this weird route. And then if you can actually tie it up historically, it's fascinating. And I have
Yeah.
tied it up historically as well.
Amazing.
The fact of the judge, yeah, the information that we've got through transmediumship about 6 years ago, I've actually managed to get tied up about a year ago with Mandy West.
Oh
Just
wow.
gave her a bit of information, and she's actually found out who the judge is just by a little information that I did get.
Mm.
And
Amazing.
it's incredible. And yeah, and like I don't think I even looked at history much at school because you always got the boring teachers, and they didn't like bring it alive, did they? To be fair, a lot of them
Yeah.
didn't. So were
Yeah.
you sort of passionate about history?
Back in school.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say so. I mean, it was always like we always used to go on holiday like through the UK and things like that. So we'd always go to like castles and museums. So I've
Right.
always
Yeah,
kind of grown up with that appreciation of history.
that's good.
Um, but yeah, I kind of took a different direction when I was at school in like sort of like the subjects that I chose and things like that. But yeah, I was always very interested in history. Yeah.
That's brilliant. What's your favorite period in history then?
Um, I've been asked this a couple of times, and it changes as to who I talk to. But at the minute, I'm
Okay.
still on the Victorians, but purely because of the amount of records that they have and things, which makes my life easier. So I like going
Yeah,
through all
that's
like the
right.
newspapers and things like that. So yeah.
So, what is the best method of finding out? We mentioned the newspapers. What other sort of records do you use? Sort of
Um,
gather information and everything.
God, it really depends on what I can sort of find. So I will normally always try and use primary sources where I can. So like the people that actually said these things, so like the actual witnesses, trying to get like what they've said straight from the horse's mouth, kind of thing.
Yeah,
When it comes to sort of like the older history, so like if I'm covering a castle or things like that, they normally like the noble families will have had like a whole biography about their family, which makes my life very easy because then it's all written
yeah,
down who had who kids and who married who, and it's brilliant like that. Um, so yeah, just like I try to find sources that are as close to the event as possible, if that makes
yes,
sense.
I get you.
'Cause-
That's the thing. Like a lot of people look on Wikipedia, and you get a version, but is it how much of that is actually correct? And
yeah, and nine
it's
times out
not
of 10 it's not. It's like the
no,
numbers will be slightly off or like things like that. But as soon as I watch a video and I can see that you've used that Wikipedia, like I'm like, well, I know where you got that from.
yeah. It's like even Fotheringhay Castle. It mentions Mary Queen of Scots, and it's got 2 years when it like mentions like when she got executed. It's got 5 and 6, and it's like, well, which one is it? And like you think like if they're doing a memorial to her,
Yeah,
they'd be clear on it.
yeah,
Think they'd get it
definitely.
right, wouldn't you? To be fair,
You'd like to think.
but yeah, so many people do sort of get the history wrong, and there's so much of it wrong on Facebook as well. And it's nice
Yeah.
that you take the time, sort of look into it, and yeah, get the
Yeah.
proper information.
I mean, yeah, there's so much. I don't want to necessarily say it's like a nefarious thing of like being misinformation and things like that, but I feel like details get changed over time and then they get just copied and pasted onto different websites and things like that, which it's
It's
that's sort
lazy.
of like, well, yeah, but also like it just kind of like
But
it takes it away from the actual story. Plus then if say like a paranormal investigator, they want to do the research before they go into a place, they've got the wrong information, so like that
yeah,
can also then influence sort of like their own investigation. So like yeah, that is sort of like my hill to die on, is historical accuracy where I can.
yeah, that's it. I tend not to look before I go in, and then see what I get, and then try and look into it. And oh god, but then you're kind of losing it a bit on the investigation because if I'm not kind of linking in, then it's trying to get the right questions, isn't it?
Yeah,
You've got the both sides, like whether you look at the history before you go in or whether you look after, and it's
yeah.
one of those. That weird shop, I recently went back for 2 nights, and I've been there a few times, so I decided to sort of read up on the history. And oh god, yeah, you start going down the rabbit holes, don't you?
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
dear me, it's mad. Like, I was even looking about, there's a boxer in Nottingham called Bendigo, known for bare knuckle fighting. So I started looking into that. So he actually went and found his grave. I didn't even
Mm.
know it existed. And it's just incredible what you sort of do find when you like going through documents and things like
Yeah,
that. So,
definitely.
so I've got a question here then. What got you into the paranormal?
I guess that's kind of similar to the earlier question, but
Yeah.
Colin, for your benefit, it was I've always been into the paranormal. I've always been that weird kid at school. So yeah, it was always we didn't really have like the YouTube and things like that, and Facebook, like how the information gets passed around now. It was most haunted, and that's sort of like all I had growing up. So yeah, it just kind of spiraled from there, really.
Yeah, it was an incredible show, and that's what actually got me into paranormal. 2003, 2 and to 3, I did a New Year's resolution to find out if ghosts existed. I'm still
Amazing.
searching now. It's just some
Yeah.
like it's a really stupid thing to say, and it was really like, oh, let's see if ghosts existed, and I booked 2 at the time, which were really expensive because
Mm.
in those days, weren't that many people who did it,
Yeah.
which was National Justice Museum and Derby Jail, of all places,
Wow.
and yeah, and yeah, I've just been like mm, going since then. It's just, I don't know, you just get the thrill of a chase in the end.
Yeah.
Comes really, once you really get into it, it's so addictive, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's it, definitely.
So Philip wants to know, is there a location you'd like to investigate?
Ooh. I mean, my go-to answer has always been Tudor World, and then the Ouija brothers invited me out, and we went and investigated it. So.
Oh wow, okay, that's a good venue, isn't it? I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of evidence on that place, but
Yeah,
it's a bit
definitely.
out of my bit too far out for me, slightly.
Um, a location I'd like to investigate. To be honest, like I am really interested in covering sort of like amusement parks and theme parks and things like that. So
Yes, that'd
I've
be
done
amazing.
the Blackpool Pleasure Beach. That was like the first episode that I ever did on my channel. So something
Yeah,
like that, or like Alton Towers. I know that they like with the actual towers, that would be really interesting. So just like a place that people wouldn't expect to be haunted, and that it is apparently haunted. They always kind of catch my eye.
yeah, like Alton Towers did used to do ghost hunts, but
Yeah.
I think they kind of want to hide the fact of the haunted bit. They don't want to promote that sort of thing because they want it a child-friendly place, and oh no, we haven't got any ghosts here. But wow,
Yeah,
those towers are so fascinating.
that
They're
is.
absolutely stunning, and like when I go there, I do like to like try and sit in there. And, like not many people go in, so you're just sitting in the corner and like just calling out.
Absolutely. And it is quite funny that out of all of the videos and all of the stories that I've covered, Alton Towers has been the one that has prompted the most people to get in contact with me, of like employees and security guards saying like, yeah, it is really haunted. Like they've seen this or experienced this or like found this on CCTV. So it's like, yeah, that
Wow.
place would be really cool to investigate now.
Oh gosh, yeah, I would love it. I really would. But yeah, I just hope to change your mind one day. Has your opinion on paranormal TV shows changed since you've seen more content on YouTube?
uh,
A good one, yeah.
yes. Oh, yeah,
Just a
definitely.
bit.
Um, in kind of two ways, really. So I wouldn't say I was necessarily naive to what was going on TV. Like, I mean, it was pretty obvious with like Ghost Adventures and the later sort of seasons of Most Haunted that like, you're not getting this sort of activity every single week. Like, that's not happening. Um, so it then seeing sort of like how that was translating onto YouTube, as in like the content creators were also having this. So it sort of like backed up my feelings that yeah, there is something a bit odd going on here. But from the other perspective of it, of like seeing and sort of like meeting teams like the Ouija Brothers and Ghost on
Yeah.
Trent and Exploring the Entity and people like them, and seeing how you can actually investigate and you can still create content out of it even though you don't discover anything,
Yeah.
It was really refreshing to see. And yeah, I definitely only watch ghost shows now for entertainment.
Yeah, that's there is such a massive sort of range out there, isn't there? I can't do the sort of quality editing. I just if I do have anything, I just put it on there. But I don't tend to record what I do. I just go out and do it, and
Yeah,
because I wouldn't have time, to put it out there. It's just editing it all and everything, and watching it all for hours and hours, and yeah, it's
yeah.
hard work, and all credit to them.
Oh, absolutely. I think
Just
Mark from Dead Cold kind of said it best when
oh,
he decided he
Mark.
wasn't going to do it anymore. So,
Yeah, because his
and
content was amazing, yeah. Because
yeah,
I spoke to him maybe 1 to 2 years ago, and yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, I get it. I totally get
yeah,
it.
100%. That like you're kind of always thinking about getting the best shot, or like where's the camera pointing and things like that, rather than actually investigating a location that you're at.
Yeah. Like when I've like on the odd occasion put a camera out, it's like got people standing in the way all the time. It's like move over, and you're like, well, no, that's not what I'm doing. I want to investigate,
Yeah,
and like there's times like I've done live feeds, and you're too busy talking to the live feed. If something is happening in the building, then you're just ignoring them, aren't you?
yeah, definitely.
And Whitby, there you go.
Yes. Yeah,
Have
I'd
you
love to go
been?
to Whitby. I haven't been. My parents
Oh
went a
my
couple of weeks
god!
ago and they said like it's
Wow.
amazing, but yeah, it's on our list of places to go.
Yeah, it's certainly got a this interesting feel about it.
Yeah.
There's just some things, but even as a kid, I used to go there as a child, and Whitby and Brixton, there's just something about it. There's just something different. And then, of course, there's York. Have you been to York?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's along, yeah, it's got the same sort of weird feeling as York, but
Yeah,
obviously you're near the sea, and oh, you've got so much history around there, sort of smugglers and all that, haven't you? And
of course, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, so wonder if one day, but yeah. Oh, Big Chippy Whitby.
I'm sure we can find some fish and chips in Whitby.
Oh, if you go to the Big Chippy, yeah, you have to queue for hours. Yeah, it's popular. You know which one it is because everyone's queuing. But yeah, and that's what you do. I've been there, God, loads of times. Last time was with Richard Felix eating chips on the seafront with him and a few.
Oh wow.
That's great. Yeah, but it's just beautiful. If you get a good day. But everyone seems to be doing paranormal TV. Did you see this that Singer case you did? Oh dear.
Oh, I
I'm not
didn't see
sure
it.
which one. No, I probably didn't watch that. No, I don't. I don't sort of watch a lot of paranormal content because I'm kind of doing it a lot, and you just like, oh god, you're just shouting at it. To be fair,
Yeah.
it's like no, I can't just watch it. And like, oh dear. So Andy went to Whitby Abbey once. My iPhone packed up while I was taking pictures. Then when we came away, it worked fine again. Yeah,
Wow.
and that's like when you're not investigating, things happen,
Yeah.
and that's fascinating. It really is. That Abbey, oh my god, it's stunning. The steps up to it aren't. Wow, but you can park up there as well. Magpie Chippy. Oh god, yeah, birds. Yes, yeah, they got these killer gulls in Whitby.
Oh no.
I got a plate of seafood, and like little gits just like came on and just stole it. I was just walking like that with it. They just got some food. It's like, how dare
Fearless.
you? You lose the money like the big, massive ones.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so yeah, you have to watch it in Whitby, but yeah, it is incredible if you get to go, and I'm sure you could do like 1 or 2 episodes there because it is fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Anglesey, another place as well. I went, I think it was last year, and I found some like, oh dear, I don't think for like Roman houses or something, little Roman area. Oh, and it's just great, like wandering around the old ruins and stuff. So
Yeah. Amazing.
the cat. Oh my god, really?
Oh,
Wow,
that's interesting.
is that true? My god. That is brilliant if that's the case, because that was a great loss. I haven't been there, but my God, the stories which I've heard
Yeah,
from there. Oh, thanks for that, Steve. I'll look out for that one,
yeah.
because that is fascinating. Seagull Team 6, definitely. Terrible. Don't think Dick Turpin is part of it, but would you invest in a historical, potentially haunted building for restoration, or tour or residency?
Yeah, I definitely would. Absolutely. I don't know whether I'd be able to talk Mr. DSE into living in a haunted house, but I can always try.
I used to live on a haunted pub, but I just kind of ignored it. It was a former landlord. Nothing, it wasn't like Dick Turpin,
Yeah.
but the locals liked him. It didn't, it was just an old bloke who ran a pub. Oh, okay. Yeah. But so you're fascinated about castles. What's your favourite castle in England then? Because, obviously, like, it's loads of Scotland and Wales, but are there any which really catch your eye here where you'd like to go?
Actually, probably Tamworth Castle.
Yeah, because you did that episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So I grew up not too far away from Tamworth, so it
Mm.
was always kind of like if you're going on a primary school trip, it would be to places like Tamworth Castle and
Yeah.
Twyford Zoo and things like that. And I had a really horrible, traumatic encounter in Tamworth Castle that was entirely not paranormal. There was a motion sensor
Okay.
involved in this.
Yeah, okay.
But it scarred me for so long.
Oh my
It
God.
was in the haunted bedroom, and it was
Okay.
back when it was set up with Lord Marmion in the bed, and then the Black Lady would like appear, and it was like the projector. And so like someone comes in the room, the motion sensors like triggered, and the Black Lady starts saying, Lord Marmion, take heed. And I'd wandered off or something, and I was on my own, and I kept on tripping this motion sensor because I didn't know which way to get out. And so it just started the Black Lady started talking at me, and I was on my own, and I was absolutely terrified. Yeah, my parents had to deal with the nightmares after that one for quite a long time.
Oh my gosh, I bet. Yeah. I think what gets me about Tamworth Castle is it's like its location, isn't it now? Obviously it was like a high point, but now you've got everything built around it, and
Yeah.
it right on the hill as well. It
is quite interesting. Like you've got the duality of the castle on the hill in the castle grounds, and then you've got the very sort of like I don't know, like 60s looking blocks of flats up in the background. It's a little contrasting.
Yeah, because I went there like a couple of years ago to investigate it. It was like, there you go, you get his shots. I think, oh God, what the hell are they doing there? Like
a nationwide bank in the way.
Yeah, it's not. Are they? I hope not.
I don't think they're closing it. I know that it is whoever sort of like manages it has put it under threat, so it needs money spending on it, kind of thing. I think that was all I saw about it, unless I'm wrong.
I sort of look into that because there's a lot of issues now with the councils, aren't they, and selling properties, and it is a shame. And Nottingham have they've got the Nottingham Castle, they've got the council house, and they've got Newstead Abbey, which I do host at, fortunately, which is amazing. But you do kind of wonder if at some stage things are going to change on that front. Well, the council's got them, it's great, but when the council lets go with them, what will happen?
Yeah, will someone take them on, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. And you see what's happened with Tutbury Castle. That's such a sad story because the curator, they looked after it for ages from the duchy, but now they've moved out, and it's just standing there, and it is so sad. It really is. So the Castle Hotel ceased trade operating. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's not actually part of the castle.
No,
it's the hotel that's in the castle grounds, isn't it?
It's right near the entrance, isn't it? It's right where you get the beautiful entrance. The castle's right on there. That's a shame because that is a stunning hotel. Yeah. And that's it. There's so much history around, and we're just losing it now, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. I think Lorien said it best with because obviously with the haunted pubs and like the pubs
Oh
shutting and
gosh, yeah,
things
it's
like that.
shocking. Like even when I had a pub 2010, pubs are shutting so quickly. But
Yeah.
like that was then, but now it's getting to be a thing of the past. And then like the beautiful historic ones
Mm,
and the Talbot, and oh my god, the amount of history in that place.
yeah,
It, it,
absolutely.
it's just fascinating how you get these places in the sort of like 11, 1200s, and they are still here.
Yeah.
And you imagine all the stories and what's happened in those places. Oh yeah, the staircase. Then where do you think that's from? Because the Talbot said, "Oh dear." So the Talbot are trying to claim the Fotheringhay Castle staircase, but apparently Hardwick Hall is as well,
Oh, right. Okay.
which is quite fascinating. So yeah, the Fotheringhay the staircase up to where it was it Queen Mary, no, Mary Queen of Scots was executed.
Mm.
Like it's like two places who say, "Oh, they've got it,"
Oh,
which
right.
is
Okay.
quite interesting, isn't it? It's like, well, where has it got? There you go. That's a mystery. But yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, shared custody of the staircase, and it's like only when I went to a Talbot and like, oh wow, impressive. And then
Mm.
like you're reading about Hardwick, I thought, oh okay, why? That's weird. I'm sure I saw this staircase, which is said to be from here. So it's
Wow.
just, yeah, there's no doubt that some of Fotheringhay Castle is actually in the structure of the Talbot.
Mm.
That's fair enough, but yeah, that's who knows. But that's the thing about history, isn't it? You get these stories and just go on, and then Chinese whispers, and then they sort of
Yeah.
evolve into something completely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you found you've had stories from people and they've just ended up totally different?
Yes, I find quite a lot because I get quite a lot of information from books.
Yeah,
Because a lot of the time, like the information just hasn't made it onto the internet yet. So like Peter Underwood is a great example. Like he authored so many different books, and as an example, I'm going to use Aston Hall because that's one I've been
yeah,
researching recently. And so the story of the there's a servant that unfortunately apparently hung himself in the attic, and
okay.
the story was said, it's like been all over the internet, and like everyone that you hear about Aston Hall, it is because he stole a little bit of bread and he was so scared about what the master of the house was going to do to him that he took his own life before he could be punished. But if you go back into the older books, you find that it was actually he had fallen in love with a woman that was of higher station than him, and the owner had found it out. So it's kind of like you see how different details kind of change as the years go on.
Wow.
And even to take that example further, there's another ghost story at Aston Hall, and it appeared in a journal in 1872, and the story was completely different to anything anyone has ever like spoken about before. Like it was just no one else had said this sort of story, and that's all I'm going to say because Aston Hall is a video I've got coming up, so I don't want to give it all
Wow.
away. But yeah,
Um,
it is really interesting to see how the ghost story sort of like evolves over time, which you do definitely find in especially older locations. Like Warwick Castle is another one that I've noticed that it happened in as well, and things like that.
yeah, I love Warwick Castle.
Yeah.
I've investigated twice with just 13 people.
Oh wow.
So to get like well, it was kind of a private event,
Yeah.
and there's just three of us in a group. Me, Gary
That's
Fields, and
amazing.
another guy, and oh my gosh,
Yeah.
just to be in that space and that area,
Mm.
just the ambience and everything. Oh
Oh.
wow,
Was it
that
all like in the private apartments and things like that? Was that where you were?
no, it was in the main like Kenilworth room and places like that.
Right.
You get in the sort of dungeon cellars and
Yeah, yeah.
but to go around at night and the chapel as well, and we're in there, and I kind of felt like I was picking up that a lady was there and she didn't want to get married, and I felt like we weren't allowed to go past a rope into the chapel bits.
Yeah.
But like as I was feeling like she was trying to get down the aisle but didn't want to, the alarm went off. All of a sudden, the security came running because somewhere in the castle the alarm went off.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, the time was a bit weird, to be fair, but it's just one of those, isn't it?
Yeah,
But,
definitely.
So you'll soon have another magazine article out. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that Haunted Magazine?
Yes, it is. Yeah, the next issue of Haunted Magazine.
Brilliant. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, great magazine.
Yeah.
Would a full-time column be something you'd ever consider?
So I have been asked to be a regular writer for Haunted Magazine, so you'll see me in there a little bit more. But yeah, writing is always something that I always enjoyed. Before even doing any of this sort of like video stuff. I mean, my day job is a writer, like a content writer. So I feel like I've always been better with words, but I don't know now with the practice on the video that might have changed a little bit. But yeah, definitely writing and things like that. That's always enjoyable for me.
So wow, that's brilliant. That's what I want to say as well. Cheers, Roger. So Helena's in East Sussex, and she's going to be taking the boys to some haunted places. And Helena's got an interesting past life as well.
Oh, wow.
It's just so fascinating, the whole thing, isn't it? Love Claire's articles in the Haunted Mag. I've got to get the latest copy.
Thank you.
I haven't got it yet, but I usually get it at the Paranormal. So,
yeah.
or when I go up to Haunted Antiques, sort of get a copy sometimes. So,
yeah,
we usually keep stocked up on them because they are brilliant. I do like them. Hi, Nick. Hope you well. But so, is there anywhere that you'd like to go overseas in particular?
I mean, yeah, like I do tend to gravitate towards either UK or US locations.
Okay.
I would like to do more sort of like European sort of locations on my channel and cover like different stories like that. But yeah, if I was to go overseas, it would probably be somewhere in the US. They have, I mean, it's obviously not as old history as we have over here, but some of it is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, you've got some really gruesome history out there as well, haven't you?
Definitely.
Just it's like so young, sort of. Our gruesome history goes back to the 1100s, but
yeah,
wow, some of the stories like in the US, like wow.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, me and Mr. DSC have gone on a bit of a hype with a YouTube channel called Ghost Town Living, where it's a guy who owns a ghost town, so in California, and it's like a full-on mining thing. And the history there is just absolutely fascinating. But also, the newspapers of the time reported a murder a week. Like it was a ridiculously interesting and gruesome town. But yeah, Cerro Gordo, that's the one.
That sounds fascinating. I have been to gold sort of town, but that was in Venezuela, and that was kind of so different. Yeah, and it was really weird. Yeah, just to get people passing through, and yeah, of course they're going to be fighting over gold, aren't they, and stuff.
Yeah, of course, all the mining claims, and yeah, so yeah, I think that's probably on the top of my list of places that I'd want to go overseas right now.
that would be intriguing because it's not sort of a place I've heard about. So how did you hear about that place then? Just by watching.
Yeah, the almighty YouTube algorithm gods just served it, I think, to Mr. DSP first, and he's been there probably almost like 5 years now, I think, or something like that. But like he's obviously documented his entire journey. He got there just as lockdown kicked in, so he was there completely on his own. He describes himself as a complete skeptic, but he had a weird experience, so that was obviously me hooked immediately that there was this potentially paranormal aspect. They did have a mining disaster there as well, so there has been like quite a lot of death at Cerro Gordo. So yeah, it's just been so interesting to watch. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with the mines, you're just going to get so many stories, aren't you? And you're going to get the personal family stories, and obviously, if people get all this gold, they're going to sort of change and do things they probably wouldn't usually do if they didn't have the gold. And
Yeah,
oh,
definitely.
yeah, does the guy actually pan for gold then while he's at it?
He has like different people that come and help him out. So one of them is a prospector and like has
Oh
been
yeah,
teaching him how to pan and things like that. So yeah, we're currently up to the episode where they're trying to find gold, but it was originally a silver mine, and
okay.
then I think it was a zinc mine after that as well. But they pulled
Wow.
a ridiculous amount of minerals out, and the Cerro Gordo mine is the reason that Los Angeles is as big as it is today, because it
Oh,
was like all
okay.
ships down that way. But yeah, I'm not gonna
That sounds
just go on about
fascinating.
Cerro Gordo,
Yeah.
but it's absolutely fantastic channel. It's called Ghost Town Living, and it is so interesting. It's
Wow.
really good.
Yeah, I think I'll check it out because you sort of don't know where to go sometimes on YouTube because you do check out different channels, don't you? Then
Yeah, definitely.
because there's nothing on telly now, so
Oh no.
watch something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating. So, who would you like to investigate with if you could investigate with anybody?
Oh, that's a tough question. I'm not sure, to be honest. Probably someone like Richard Felix, who I've sort
All
of
right.
like grown up watching, and
Yeah.
I feel like he's quite level-headed with that sort of stuff compared to his colleagues on
Yeah.
a certain
Yeah.
show.
That's the one. Yeah. He's like
Yeah,
scared of ghosts. It's quite
yeah,
funny. Yeah.
exactly.
No, yeah, I saw him a couple of weeks ago. God, he just got out of hospital. I couldn't
Mm,
believe it. And then a week later, he's at the jail. It's
yeah.
like,
And then I saw he was
yes,
advertising to do
like,
a haunted pub crawl as well. I'm like,
I
mate,
know.
just chill, it's
Just,
okay.
I told him off straight away, like, chill. And
Yeah.
like, I've actually got him on a podcast in about 2 weeks.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, it's a bit odd you should mention Richard of all people. So yeah, so I will be
Small
speaking
world.
to Richard Felix again. But yeah, I used to host at Derby Jar quite a lot. Oh
Mm.
right, yeah, Danny Robbins. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 I'd like to do. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, that'd be a special one because yeah, they're just brilliant. You need TV when you have good quality. That's it.
Oh, thanks,
Oh,
Colin.
bless you. That's brilliant. But yeah, and that's the thing, you can get it on your telly now, can't you? So just stream it over, it's fine, and it's all good.
Yeah.
So, are there any YouTubers you still want to meet?
I mean, I've already met like so many amazing people doing this anyway.
Yeah,
So obviously, like I've done a few collaborations with like the Ouija Brothers, Ghost on
yeah,
Trent, and Exploring the Entity. They've been brilliant. It's also been really nice, obviously, like to when I first started this channel, it was just kind of me, and like I didn't really have any like expectations about
yeah,
sort of like who I was going to meet or like a whole community of the paranormal sort of thing. But then like I sort of like got a little bit more into it and found sort of like the parameets and things like that. So it's been absolutely amazing to sort of like meet all of that sort of people, from sort of like yourself and like
yeah,
Kevka and Lorienne, and then like there's just been so many people come into our lives because of this channel that I'd never say that I want to go out and specifically meet a certain YouTuber or things like that, but
yeah.
it's just
It
been
happens. It's cool.
exactly, yeah. I mean, the people that I've met so far, I wouldn't have expected to meet anyway. So
That's
it's all
brilliant.
yeah,
Yeah, it is an incredible journey within the paranormal, though, isn't it?
yeah,
It really
absolutely,
is.
yeah,
Like I've met some incredible people, and yeah, category paranormal, brilliant, yay! But yeah, I've met, yeah, I've met so many, and like you watch people on TV, and then you sort of meet them, and they're sort of dead down to earth and stuff like that, and
yeah. That's it.
they're just real.
Yeah.
And well, the ones I meet are, I wouldn't want to meet the ones who scream loads, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just avoid that because I don't want to pay like £10 for a signed photo with them. Nah, thanks.
No.
Or whatever it is, but it's what it is, isn't it? And
Yeah.
we've all got our own journeys and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
sort of doing the history of YouTube, sort of heading sort of any other directions? Have you sort of
Um,
changed, like, have you kind of changed your direction since starting
Not
in any way?
really. I wouldn't have said so. I feel like I very much always wanted to give the background of a haunted place rather than just say like a grey lady walks here or like
Yeah,
the specific ghost stories. I wanted to kind of always give that context behind a location as well as then the witness accounts and things like that. I
yeah,
feel like possibly just maybe as my own researching skills have got better doing this, I do tend to find the history so much more interesting
mm,
now because it is just that like extra little bit of context and you can sort of like see where different ghost stories have come from. Well, it's like, well, this specific daughter died here and now there's a lady here kind of thing. Like you can sort of tie the
yeah,
things together. um I have also sort of like renewed my whole appreciation for history on a whole, and I do find that especially when I'm covering like older locations, I feel like I'm repeating myself with the information that I'm giving, and that like I'm talking about the English Civil War so much and like giving a little bit of background. So it maybe at some point I might just do a history channel and like just lay everything out, like the English Civil War, this happened, and if you want to go find out more, there's a video for that kind of thing. But that is way off in the future. That's not
oh,
any time on the horizon kind of
yeah.
thing. But
But
yeah.
do you find that sometimes where you are, oh God, somewhere where you're drawn to, do you find it does meet within the certain time period, like you mentioned, like you sort of do a lot of the like Victorian side, but do you kind of find like you might pick a few places and think, oh wow, that is, it all sort of links in together or links in some way or other?
um yeah, kind of. I feel like because I don't tend to leave a lot out, I do just cover it anyway. So
Yeah,
like,
so you find it, yeah.
yeah, that's it. So like if a building was built in the 19th century, then I will probably just talk about from the 19th century onwards. But if a building was built in 1066, I'll go like all the way through. And if there's drama, I'm going to tell you about it because
Yeah.
yeah, I just can't cut it down.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So love it when you find ghost stories that correspond with a history, especially the bits that aren't well known. That's it, because, well, like we said earlier, like people get the Wikipedia, there you go, boom, that's it. But you sort of bring a life to it. You bring it to life. You bring the stories to life,
Oh,
and
thanks.
it makes it. It's more of an identity, isn't it? Rather than
Yeah,
castle, and you get this queen there. Oh no, you get this, and this, and you get a fuller picture about it, and fuller
yeah.
picture about how they lived and things like that.
Definitely, yeah, and that's it. Like these were people that lived. They were just like us, just a long time ago. That's all. They still had their own dramas and their relationships and their tragedies, and they're all still as interesting as if you hear about it from a coworker who's going through it right now. It's still
Yeah, that's
drama, and it's
right.
not your drama, so it's interesting.
Yeah, that's it. And it was like, well, quite barbaric as well at some stages.
Absolutely, yes, definitely.
You sort of say like you're into the macabre and stuff, and like, God, you get some of those stories, don't you?
Yes, some yeah, covered some heavy topics. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Richard Felix like often mentions like the stories which are like hung, drawn, and quartered, and like things like that, and
Hmm.
so it goes into describe things. It's you just can't believe that this isn't a history, can you?
Yeah,
That
that's
people
it.
treated people in this manner.
Yeah, it's
It's
absolutely
just,
wild.
but yeah, oh, I don't know. But if you got any questions though, please add them to the chat. So I've got one. Are you ever disappointed when a location you love gets completely debunked? Ancient Ram.
Um, yes, I do. The There was one I covered. Um, Oh, also, I've done a also collaboration with Into the Unknown Paranormal. Sorry, guys, for
Right.
leaving you out. But yeah, so their collaboration, we went to Strelly Hall um,
Okay.
and investigated there. So, like, before we went and did this investigation, I covered it on my channel. So, like, I wanted to know all of the details and, like, all of the different history and things like that.
Mhm.
And that, to me, I am not convinced at all that it is haunted. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but from what I read on the history and like what I found out, not really seeing it. So
Oh, wow.
it was it was an interesting one because I don't think I would have covered it on my channel if it was not for that collaboration, because that one has been like the biggest red flag for me as to a place is like, I'm not really sure you're haunted kind of thing. But
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I
Because
mean, it was
that's
obvious.
really local for me. That one
Yeah,
is.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've investigated twice.
Have you ever
Uh,
found anything there then?
we do, I do pick up on things and we do get interaction. I can't remember the stories. I can't remember. I do like the castle room.
Yes, that's amazing in
That
there.
that is, and wow, you just wouldn't expect it to be there, would you?
No,
That
absolutely
is,
not.
the cellars are good as well.
Yeah.
I like the cellar. Well, it's got some nice cellars. We like cellars when we do this. I don't know why, but we do. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm interested what you say. Have you sort of looked at any other around Nottinghamshire? Higher?
Um, I can't think off the top of my head, but like I'm kind of local to that area too, so like I
Yeah,
do kind of
that's
gravitate
right.
towards those sort of places, and
Yeah, that's it.
sort of like grew up more over Birmingham way, but kind of still this side. So like I have quite a lot of connections to different places around here.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Smethwick Baths?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, it's a shame because that had a lot of history to it, but obviously because it's a leisure centre and everything, but because they did the Commonwealth Games,
Yeah.
they did a new centre, so that was it. They just closed it down, and
Ah.
it's got so much history. Like it was used in the war and stuff,
Oh
and
wow.
you've got a lot of that, and you've got a lot of like markings where on the underneath the pool and stuff,
Mm.
from that time, and it's just fascinating. It's just fascinating, and it's all that history gone, and
Yeah.
we did pick up a lot of stuff as well. Um, and yeah, and it's a shame, isn't it? And you just want to see these buildings just get looked after, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
There's a place what interests me, Birmingham Way, is the Crooked House, and I've been following
Oh,
that saga. It's so goddamn sad, isn't it? What they've
oh,
done.
it's
And, it's
unbelievable.
like whether they're ever going to try and build it again.
Yeah.
Well, they can't really, even get it anywhere like. Did you ever go there?
No, I didn't ever go
No,
there. No.
no.
But yeah, I kind of saw little bits of it in that like it was demolished when it shouldn't have been
Yeah,
demolished
that's
or
right.
something. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's just a shame, really is. Oh, here we go, Bolsover Castle. Have you been there?
I've been past it, but I've never actually been. It is actually, I think that one is on my list of places to do. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, that one really caught me out because I can pick up things spiritually. I can. And you just think, oh, castle, they're either family homes or, some, you know, battles, they're there, aren't they? To
Mm.
protect kings and monarchy and things like that. So you go there and it's like the images I was getting was a bit random. And then I realised it's a party palace, a rich
Right.
person's party palace,
Mm.
which I had no idea about. And like the imagery I was getting in my head was like, what the hell? You just, it, it was brilliant. It's just fascinating. It really is.
Mm.
But you got the stunning artwork as well, in some of the rooms.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful place to look round. So I
Mm.
definitely recommend that. Hi Leslie, Team Spirit Paranormal. I hope you well. So you've been to a lot of incredible places. Would you ever like look at ships and the history of ships?
Oh, I love doing that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've covered the SS Great Britain. That's one that I've covered. The one in
Yeah.
Bristol. I think that's
Yeah.
it. Great Britain. Which was very interesting. I also am kind of covering one this week coming up. That's kind of part of one, but yeah, I really do find sort of like transportation-y kind of stories very interesting as well. So like ships, airplanes, airfields as well, because they normally have a huge
Wow.
amount of
Yeah.
history to them. Yeah.
Yeah. And sort of a lot of hauntings. You know, a lot of people I sort of know go to the airfields and sort of the things that get sort of coming up. Yeah, I'd love to investigate a ship as well. My dad actually worked on the original Queen Mary, so
Oh,
I
wow.
would love to go on there. I've actually got an original vaccination certificate, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, so when the sort of he passed, and I was going through his belongings, it's like, oh my god, I have this, and it's just like, but as a child, like he mentioned, working on it, you just don't think about it, do you?
No,
It's
absolutely
just
not.
like one of them, but like by the time I was like really into this and I really wanted to know about it, it got Alzheimer's and dementia. So
Oh.
I couldn't get the stories, like, oh, was it haunted and stuff, and you can't really ask, can you?
No.
I tried, he's like, you didn't, yeah, it's a
Mm.
shame. But yeah. Oh yeah, the airfield. So yeah, Rougham is a good one. Like a friend has been speaking. He sort of did an investigation. He started speaking in Polish. Wayne
Oh,
Seed
wow.
and heard him. He doesn't speak Polish,
Amazing.
and like something that happens like that, it's incredible. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Mm.
My little nice little bit of history there. It's like wow, and I always want to go there.
Yeah.
Just a long way because I want to go to Gessisburg and there.
Oh, yeah,
So
that would
they're
be
like other
amazing.
sides of the countries, aren't they? Which is a bit. Oh yeah, I have actually investigated Grand Central Railway, and that was
Wow.
incredible. And we actually did get on a train because you shouldn't have actually gone. They sort of said, "Oh, you can't go on the trains," and then they let you on the trains for a bit. So it's just like, yeah, that was so cool. Oh yeah, Rougham. I want to go there, but they've just kind of changed like when you can hire it. So I think they decided like summer they can make money, so they kind of eased off letting the paranormal teams in. When they weren't earning much money, the paranormal teams kind of kept them going a bit. You know what I mean? And now
Mm.
when it happens to you. Hi Irene. Irene's in Japan. So there's like amazing history out there. That would be fascinating.
Yeah.
Investigated the wow. I like that. Did you get anything? Oh my god, that's kind of creepy, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. But yeah, I'm going to South Yorkshire Aircraft Museum as well.
Oh,
So I'm
wow.
going to go there soon. So you've got. I think the first time I went there, it freaked me out because you just got the front of planes. Because obviously you're not going to fit full planes in there, are you?
No,
You
of course
maybe get a
not.
few in, but like you just got the fronts of them. But some of them you can actually climb into the cockpits, and then you've got the history on some of them as well.
Oh, wow.
So it is fascinating. Yeah, uh, they mentioned Strelly, and you Shires have actually got Strelly booked uh, under their sort of event side of things, and I'm
Oh, amazing.
going to Strelly on about 28th, I think it is. So yeah, brilliant. I didn't expect
Mm.
anything. Sheffield Fire and Police Museum, yeah, been there. That's incredible. I had a weird experience there. Yeah. I was just chatting to a bed with people who are mediums, and they said that I was chatting to someone. I said, "Come on, then, show yourself." And I said, "Well, what's he doing now? Always laughing at you. Come on, do something. Always laughing at you more." Well, I can't see him.
Wow.
It was just mad. Picked up on a lady at Rougham. Her name was Sarah. So, one of the investigators took me to a room, and there she was in a picture with her husband. And I think I know somebody else who's done that as well. I think Wayne Sedens, he's picked up on a character and then they've actually had a photo. And
Wow.
it is good for that. 29th, yeah, I'll be there. But yeah. So do you sort of go around a lot of the old houses and the halls and things like that?
Where I can, I do try and go, especially if they're local as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm more than happy to travel out, and Mr. DSC is more than happy to get away from the laptop for a day and go and have a look
Yeah.
around. So yeah, where I can, I will. Plus, then I also have like the photos and the footage for my own videos as well. I don't have to try hunting around the internet to try and find
Oh
them
gosh,
for
yeah,
my
that's
content.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
trying to get things about the copyright as well, isn't it?
yeah,
Because,
definitely. That's a minefield and a half.
yeah,
But
right.
no, it's always just so valuable to be able to do that from the point of view of like there may be stories on in at the location that aren't shared online, or you just
Yeah,
can immerse yourself a little bit more in the history and like sort of get to grips with the story a little bit better than just sort of like reading about it online or in books and things like that. So yeah.
yeah, it certainly brings it alive. I've recently been hosted at Newstead, and we went one night, and one of the lads that day had seen a dark shadow. He didn't actually believe in ghosts,
Oh
so it
wow.
kind of scared him to death. You know, it's just like they're just working. It's like, so I don't know if he ever made it back to work another day, but you know,
Wow.
it's fascinating, isn't it, when you sort of hear things like that from people who just just working, you know.
Yeah.
What would you do if you saw a woman in an old photo and she looked exactly like you? Wow.
Um, I'd probably have to know who she is and like sort of find out if we're related, maybe.
Yeah,
but uh, but yeah, I'm not really sure what I would do, to be honest.
that's a weird one. You'd pose for a photo though.
Yeah,
You'd do a selfie with it, wouldn't you?
absolutely.
You'd have to. Go, who's this woman? Yeah, but you see it on the internet, don't you? Like people like, oh my, you know, standing in front of their images.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, it's right. But say everyone's got like a doppelganger, and
Mm.
yeah, I like that question. That's cool. If you got any more questions for Claire, just add them to the chat. So, what is your next holiday then? You heading
Um,
anywhere in particular then?
we are going to the East Coast somewhere in the next
Right,
couple of
okay.
weeks. I can't remember
Awesome.
specifically, and also I'm
Yeah,
not going to dox
yeah,
myself.
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, there's
Yeah,
a few different things that we want to do, a few different like sort of airfields and things like that because there's so
yeah.
many over that sort of
There
way.
are, yeah, sort of like Norfolk and like Lincolnshire. You just got
Yeah,
loads. Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah,
right.
really looking forward to it and just a break as well, like a long weekend away. Take the dogs and yeah, it should be
Yeah,
really nice.
get them on the beach as well. You can.
Absolutely,
That,
yeah.
that's a big one, is it? Claire, is it true exploring the energy is the best team ever?
Of
It
course,
is.
Carl. I'd never say
There you
anything
go.
else.
Winner. Right answer. Oh, bless you. Favorite location?
um, favorite location that I've covered on my channel would probably be something like Disneyland. That was
Oh,
ridiculously interesting to look into.
I like that.
It was originally just it was a request. Someone asked me to look into it
Oh my
just in the park
gosh.
in California, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll stick it in the schedule, expecting to just do like a quick like 20-minute video like I'd normally
Yeah.
do. And it just turned into this behemoth of so many different stories, and like pretty much every cast member has a weird encounter, and they're
Wow.
so spread out over pretty much the entirety of the park that I've had to like sort of split it down into doing specific sections of the park. And so I've done one on the haunted mansion and Tomorrowland, and then like where Walt Disney himself has been allegedly spotted. So there's so much more that I have to
There you
talk
go.
about. Yeah, it was probably
That's
is my favorite
incredible.
video too. It's so interesting to look into, and there's still so much more to look into it with as well. So yeah, I would probably say that's my answer.
Oh, wow. Incredible. Are you going to go?
I've got to now. I've
Yeah,
read so much
definitely.
about it.
All this,
Yeah.
all this work.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly. Yeah, some people
Wow.
have already started requesting me to do the Walt Disney World part, which I think is the one
Right.
in Florida. I'm like, just let me get through California first. There's just so much to say there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's fascinating. Like, yeah, you sort of like see the abandoned theme parks, and you think, I'd love to get in those, and
Yeah.
so many incredible places, aren't there? Have you ever walked into a venue you hadn't been in before and somehow know what's in different rooms or areas?
I have the sensitivity of a house brick. I'm not really very sensitive at all. So
Oh,
no,
bless you.
that's never happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. But yeah. So when so would you try and you'd like spend if you went all the way to Disneyland or something like that, you'd just spend days there, wouldn't you? Really, just trying to build it up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, there's so many different places that we want to go to over in the States anyway that
Yeah,
we would probably end up being
definitely.
there for an extended period of time.
Yeah,
I have a thing about Las Vegas hotels. I love covering those too. So obviously Las Vegas was what definitely have to go there as well if I was ever over that way.
yeah. What about New Orleans or somewhere like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. But I feel
Yeah.
like that one may be a little bit darker just because of
Mm.
2005, I think
Well, of
it
course,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
there's probably a lot going on there. I would absolutely imagine for like someone that was more sensitive, not me,
Yeah.
it would be quite overwhelming to go to. But yeah,
Yeah.
endlessly fascinating nonetheless.
Yeah. I think like the sort of the whole culture out there is so intriguing
Yeah,
anywhere. And
absolutely.
sort of met a lady at a sort of paracon a while ago, Bloody Mary, and she sort of did a ritual for us all, a part of the evening, and wow,
Wow.
it's fascinating. And to hear her talk about voodoo, and we made a voodoo doll as well, and it's not all about bad, it can be good as well. And everyone thinks about things being bad, don't they?
Mm.
And oh wow, that's cool.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, that's incredible. But yeah, but so of your places then, what is it? Castle? What's your most intriguing sort of asylums, castles,
Um,
prisons,
yeah, I
boats?
mean, for me to cover it on my channel, I have to be interested in it anyway. And
Mhm.
so everything is so interesting in different sort of ways.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of the beauty of what I do because I literally just I research and I put together a story about the place. It's not like I'm actually like going to these different places all
Yeah.
the time. That I can get so much variety in what I can research and like and talk about. So with sort of castles, it's really ancient history, but it's
Yeah.
so interesting to me. Prisons, obviously, really dark and all about crime and punishment, and we all love a good public execution. So like that's really interesting. Um, then like amusement parks, it's a place that you wouldn't expect to be haunted. So like I just find that really interesting. And then like hotels, this is a place that you go away on holiday and yet you're coming into contact with a ghost. Like there's
Yeah.
just so many different sort of avenues of stories that I go down on the regular that like it's never a dull day in my office.
Yeah, that's right. Because I've actually stayed at the schooner is in Northumberland, which is known as
Okay.
one of the most haunted places, and that was fascinating.
Wow.
And you hear about the history there and the sort of pirate smugglers and all that, and you try and then sort of take it to the modern day when it's such a different world,
Yeah.
and to realize that all that's like happened,
Mm.
it's just mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
So, any tips on researching that you could give Shy's Paranormal? Is it Jamie?
Um I would say obviously you can't go wrong with starting off looking at the Wikipedia page, but then
Yeah,
scroll all the way down to the bottom, and that's where you get like the actual sources, and that you can go and see and actually assess are these sources good. And normally, if they are, 9 times out of 10, if you click on them, it'll take you to the actual source and you get way more information. So that is probably my number one tip, I would say. But also, if you do a Google search for a term that is relevant to the place that you're going. So, say for example, Strelley Hall. Type in Strelley Hall on Google and then go to the books tab and see what sort of books have actually spoken about the place that you want to investigate. Because the amount of books that I found doing that, and then I've gone and bought that book and found something out that is nowhere. No one else is talking about it online. I cannot count how many times that's happened. So yeah.
It's incredible. I recently got, well, for a lot of my life, I've sort of been drawn to a murder which happened in 1963 before I was born. And it then turned out that I was investigating across the road from it at that weird shop in Nottingham. So because, it's closing down and stuff, I decided to buy the book, what covered the murder, because we'd already been investigating, we'd already got information through. So I kind of wanted to know more and more, just so that I could use that as a questions, because the landlord who was actually murdered was coming through at that weird shop.
Oh, wow.
So, we were, and but just reading and seeing more, because there is like a little blog, what you can read, and it tells you all about it. But then to buy this book and then get more information. Yeah. But books can sort of hold so much information, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing. Yeah, you do get lost. I was writing my book, and I like my local church, and then I thought, let's look at the history of it. And then it mentioned like some memorials in some graves and things. And then it tied up to Newstead, and then I was like looking at that, and then I was looking at the family who were at Annesley Hall, and then, oh God.
Yeah, that does happen quite a lot. The amount of rabbit holes that I go down, I'm like, this is not relevant at all, and I'm just going down for my own research. This is never going to make it in the video, but now I'm interested. I'm invested. I need to know. But the amount of tabs I have open when I'm doing my research is criminal. I don't know how I find anything.
Yeah, but oh gosh, you do. And I just thought, just check this date out, and then oh dear, a day later you're just still on it, aren't you? And it's absolutely mad. Got to head. Oh, cheers, thank you. Oh, thanks a lot. Oh yeah, see you soon. And I like what you're doing as well, Emily. So Emily's going to sort of feature a sort of paranormal location, sort of use it as a project. So it'd be interesting what she gets through.
Fantastic.
So yeah, but and this is the thing. Like, everybody who's commenting, I've met most of these in the UK, and it's just fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people sort of come good friends in time as well, and it's just wonderful just being able to work together.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely.
So, but yeah, but has anybody got any more questions that you want to ask Claire? What's your most scariest encounter then?
That I've had myself.
You said about that moving Tamworth Castle.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I wouldn't say so. Famous last words, but I don't think I've ever actually been like properly scared.
Okay.
Well, no, let me correct that. There was one time, again, absolutely not paranormal, but it was when I was actually out with Exploring the Entity, and we were investigating Shrewsbury Prison. And I make no secret of the fact that I am scared of the dark. I do not like the dark. I'm getting better at it, but it still makes me nervous. Okay, and so that was probably we were in C Wing, I think it is, and it was literally just because it was dark and that was it, and I got scared. But it was absolutely not paranormal whatsoever.
Oh, bless you. Oh no, there's quite a lot watching on Facebook, so you're all right, Roger. If you got any more questions, please sort of ask them. I've only got about 10 minutes left, but great, interesting conversation. It really is, and yeah, your channel is wonderful, and
Thank you.
Yeah, and so when you're going to release your next one?
So I've actually recently moved my premieres. So I always used to do them on Sunday nights, but now I have moved to 9 p.m. on Tuesday. So the next one will be tomorrow evening. So
right, okay, and sort of available on YouTube, and obviously it's Don't Scare Claire.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
can you be found on any other platforms? You're on Facebook, aren't you?
Yeah, so I am on Facebook. I'm normally haunting Instagram around if I'm procrastinating, so I will normally be on Instagram as well. I do have TikTok. I don't really use it that much, but I am also on there. But then, yeah, it's a video every week on YouTube.
Oh, there you go. Listen to Fear of the Dark, Iron Maiden. Awesome, love it. But yeah, and yeah, thanks so much for the chat. It's been lovely. It
Yeah,
really
thank
has.
you for having me on.
Yeah, it's been nice. And but you're speaking at the Parameet, so
Yes. Yeah.
looking forward to that. So that's the end of May bank holiday,
Yeah.
Friday through to the Monday. So
Yeah. If you're not
it's just
too
brilliant.
hungover, then I'm on the Monday.
Oh gosh. Well, I haven't been yet, but I'm usually like helping out, but I'm not. I'm attending this time, so
Mm.
I probably will drink a bit more because, like, when I was like sort of helping out, like you're going to bed at a silly hour, but then
Mm.
like you've got to wake up and be on the desk doing tickets about 9. Well,
Mm.
breakfast at 9. Yeah, yeah. And like I'm not very good at mornings, so yeah. I only did tickets with one hangover once.
Gosh.
But these things happen, don't they?
Of course
But
they do.
so it's going to be great to listen to the speakers this time.
Yeah.
And I can sit there, I can enjoy it, and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just such a beautiful location as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you're also doing other things, are
Um,
you?
yeah, so I am now, like I said, a regular writer for Haunted Magazine. So
Yeah,
I'll be all up in Haunted Magazine from now on.
yeah.
That's cool. Other than that, that's pretty much it. My life is just consumed by creating YouTube videos right now.
Yeah, that's good though. They're good
Yeah, it
videos.
ain't bad.
Yeah,
No, quite
yeah.
good.
But but yeah, thanks so much anyway. It's been incredible, and thanks everyone for watching, and thanks for everyone who's contributed as well. But take care, everyone, and look after yourself. Thank you. Bye.